Buckle up. Episode 4. Guys, we're not gonna get super tactical today, but we're gonna talk about cells. Okay. So I'm gonna open up today's episode with a question I'm gonna throw to you, especially you gym owners out there. Like, how do you feel when I say cells? Like, what happens to your body? Okay. And I'm not talking about, $200 large group fitness. I'm not even talking about one-on-one training. If I said, "Hey, you're going to ask for three, four, $5,000 for a program," how does your body react to that? For many years, like I would just, especially when I even started learning the high ticket game, like it was just I would my body would tighten up, right? And I've taught sales to gym owners for gosh dog. I created an 8-week crash course that I taught for 4 years, took 30 cohorts through, and day one, any gym owner that I work with, that's a shock to their system, right? Especially when you're asking for thousands of dollars, not hundreds of dollars. Okay, so future episodes we're going to do a lot of objection handling tactics, and we're going to go through the tactics and strategies. But I want to talk today about how the foundation of my sales house was built, and how a life-size teddy bear and a panic attack. Okay. Life size teddy bear and a panic attack is really the driving force that makes sales really easy for me. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna go through, like I said, the foundation of how my mind, how has it shifted through the years, and how I look at sales through a completely different lens now, specifically high ticket sales. Okay. So let's get right into it. Life size teddy bear, panic attack. So I'm always been a romantic at heart. Always, I still remember. This is embarrassing to say out loud. I think it's my junior or senior year in high school. I was on the TBS. It was 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock a.m. Get the summer off, and I remember watching my first episode of Dawson Creek. So, like I said, embarrassing, guilty as charged. I ended up watching, I think, every single episode of Dawson's Creek. So I was always a big Dawson guy. So if you guys have not tuned in to watch Dawson's Creek, it's probably an awful TV show. Back in those days, though, I was a romantic at heart. Like I believed in true love and soulmates, which I found my soulmate now. But I was a true romantic at heart. So fast forward that clock, I was this was right before I moved to state of Arizona. I was in a position to where, am I going to move to Arizona with my best friend, start my career in fitness, or I was in a long distance relationship off. It was a freaking roller coaster for 3 years with a girl from this great state of Wisconsin. So I was kind of in this, where am I going to go to Wisconsin? I lived in Missouri at the time, or am I going to go to Arizona? Decided that I was going to move to Arizona. On the drive to Arizona, I had this moment where I'm like, I think I might have made the wrong decision. So ended up turning back around, and I was going to win the girl's heart back. So I broke the news to her like, hey, I don't want to move to Wisconsin. So wasn't we didn't end on good terms. She said some really harsh words at me, but I turned the car around, drive to the great state of Wisconsin. Okay, I had no idea what I was going to do when I got there. So got into it was outside of Milwaukee, a little bit south of Milwaukee. Drove to her house. Sounds like a psychopath right now, this story. So I drive to her house. I'm like, what am I going to do? She wasn't there. So decided, I knew where she worked. I was like, I'm going to surprise her at work, but I can't come to work empty handed. So I went to, it was either Walmart or Target, and I purchased a life size teddy bear. Okay. So this life size teddy bear, like, I don't even know, it's a 4 footer, 4 foot white teddy bear. Drove to her work, and then I knew the manager of her spot where she worked, and I was like, here's going to be the game plan. I'm going to call John, was his name. I'm going to call John. Hey, tell Beck to go in the back. I'm going to surprise her outside with this life size teddy bear. So I called. She answers the phone. Okay. I panic, hang up. I get a text from her. What are you doing calling my store? So at that point in time, I'm frozen. I didn't know what to do. Took a big breath, grabbed that life size teddy bear. Looking back at it, I didn't even think about it. And I just marched into the store. So I marched into a crowded outlet mall store. I think it was a Saturday. It was busy. It was pumping with this life size teddy bear. So I come walking in, life size teddy bear in hand. This is my Dawson Creek moment, right? Like this, I'm going to win her heart back. In whoo, it was like running into it's got getting on the tracks, and the freight train ran me over. You could see the second that I stepped into that store that I wasn't welcome. Okay. Her body froze up. She ends up going to the back. having a panic attack. This is a true story, guys. I'm out, life-size teddy bear, all the, there's some older women. Oh, this is the sweetest thing ever. This is your movie moment. Definitely wasn't my movie moment. I got a text that might have mentioned a restraining order, some other really sour things. And looking back, blessing in disguise, end up moving back to Arizona right now. We fast forward the clock 15 years. I'm doing this podcast. I'm helping, gym owners build their own online movements and leave something with passion. I've met my soulmate at the backstage of a bodybuilding show. I have two great kids. God, everything happens for a reason. God puts those moments in our life for a reason. So, okay. So the question is, how does this form the foundation of my sales house, the way that I view sales? Okay. So here's my frame. Okay. If I'm in a conversation with someone and I'm going to invite them into a $3,000 transformational program, or even if I'm DMing someone, maybe I'm DMing a gym owner that I don't know, because maybe it's a cold DM, because that's still part of the sales and the nurture process. Here's where my mindset always is, guys. And this is what I want your first big takeaway to be. What's worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, if I'm sitting down with someone that I probably don't know that well, and I'm like, hey, I have this amazing $3,000 transformational program. It does X, Y, and Z. You're a perfect fit for it. I'm going to invite you into the program. Worst case scenario isn't panic attack, texting with a restraining order. Okay. And even looking back at that moment in my life, it was this closure moment, inside of that store, driving to Arizona. It wasn't that bad. And one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, if not the most embarrassing moment, right? It was the girl that I thought I was going to potentially spend the rest of my life with. It was a hard no. If I can handle that, and I handled that pretty well, I can handle someone that I don't really know saying, hey, I think I'm going to pass on your fitness program. Or I can handle someone saying $3,000. Are you crazy? I can handle that, guys. So my big challenge for you out there is, especially if you're transitioning and you're selling higher ticket programs, maybe you've launched that first online program, ask yourself this question. What's the worst possible outcome? What's the worst possible scenario of messaging someone that you have this good connection with and inviting them in for a consult or sending out that offer? I'm getting excited right now. I want to send some offers, because worst case scenario isn't panic attack in a crowded mall on a Saturday with what you feel is the love of your life. That's never going to happen. So like I said, we're going to talk tactics and strategies, but guys, sales at the end of the day, all it is just a massive mindset shift. If who's willing to make the offers, make those asks, and talk through conviction, invite people to work with them, those are the ones that win. The tactics and the strategies, they're going to take care of themselves. I think that's a perfect bridge, though. So, second part of the foundation of my sales house, and this is something that I think I heard on a old school Hermosi podcast, and he was talking about tactics and strategies. He's like, if you have conviction, you're gonna win. And guys, I know this with every fiber of my being, that if you believe wholeheartedly that what you have to offer has the potential to change someone's life, the way you talk about it, your body language, your tone, it's going to do 99% of the heavy lifting. Okay. So if you have that conviction, so this is where I want you to hit that pause button, especially if you're thinking about having this higher ticket, thinking about transitioning online. And we talk about this, we'll probably talk about it every episode. That's why it's so vital to have that dream client defined, because then when you're creating that solution for this dream client, right, it has heart, it has soul. And from that heart and soul, what's going to be born? Conviction. And conviction is what sells over any tactic, any strategy, any spousal objection training, right? Like, how many sales books are there out there? There's millions of them, but I guarantee you, if you don't have conviction in what you're selling, then guess what's going to happen, right? You're not going to take the action. You're going to hear a lot more, not even no's, but maybes. Conviction, guys, it's the soul of any type of salesmanship. If you don't have conviction, then you're going to struggle, specifically with high ticket sales. Now, let's talk about the other side, where confidence. I always like to say confidence will sell a $599 6-week challenge. Confidence will sell a 12 pack of personal training sessions, right? It takes true conviction, though, to sell a $1,000 a month program, a $5,000 90-day program. It takes conviction. And so if you don't believe wholeheartedly in what you're offering is going to be the solution, then you're going to struggle when it comes to higher ticket sales. So conviction plus I'm going to take my shots because worst case scenario is not going to happen. Like those are two of my check boxes. So if I'm doing a consult, if I'm doing really anything from a sales angle, even DMing people, if I'm doing a block of relationship deposits where I'm reaching out and connecting with people inside of my network, maybe a colder audience, then those are the two things. Is my program, do I believe wholeheartedly that what I have is the answer for any gym owner out there who has that burning in their belly to be something bigger? They're burnt out on the brick and mortar model and they're thinking about leading their movement. Do I believe wholeheartedly I have that answer? Heck yeah, I know that with every fiber of my being. That's the energy that has to go into, every single part of my sales process, from the outreach up until the actual, setting down with someone and asking for the investment. So conviction, worst case scenario. What's the third thing? This is something shout out to my amazing sales mentor, Joe Marcoux. I went through probably a 75-week sprint with Joe. I was a part of a mastermind group. We would meet every Friday at, I believe it was 10 a.m. 10 a.m. I was in Arizona time. So it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. 75 of the most action-packed weeks. It was just all about live reps. I learned a lot of cool tactics and strategies from Joe. Okay. So just if you're in the game, you're looking for a sales coach, Joe is just absolutely freaking fantastic. My biggest takeaway from Joe, though, guess it wasn't a tactic, it wasn't a strategy, and heck yeah, I learned a lot of them. It was this, and this was about 25 weeks into my program working with Joe. Okay, we're going through this objection handling. I think it might have been like a spousal objection, right? And Joe said something on that call, and it just, for whatever reason, and he probably didn't even know it at the time. I'm like, that's what it is. Looking at sales through the lens of help and service. That right there will change the way that you pitch your program. It will change the way that you handle objections. It'll change the way that you coach people in that session to get them to take a step in the right direction. Like for the first 25 weeks with Joe, I thought it was about they saved this, I acknowledged them, then I asked them another question, right? I looked at it very much of as I want to be a bigger Wolf of Wall Street, right? But like I said, it was about halfway through my experience, 25 weeks into working with Joe. That's when I had my big light bulb moment that it's not about me. It's not about, what I'm saying in a consultation. It's about them. And I'll tell you one thing, guys, the second that I'm like, I'm just here to help and serve. I'm here to be a coach. I don't even like the word closer, right? There's so many hardcore closers out there. That's not the way that I teach sales anymore. I'm a help and serve. Like, so when someone sits down with me, I'm in the mindset right now of, I want to know about you. And since I've adapted that, guess what I do? I shut up during consults and I'm there for them and I'm asking more questions. I'm asking more questions. That's the way I handle first half of the consult. And that's how I handle the back half of the consult. When I tell them about my program, are you ready to do it? I'm there to listen to them. I'm there to help and serve. Okay, guys, that's the key to my foundation of my sales house. That's why I've always been very successful in sales. The people that I teach, they come out successful. It's not the tips. It's not the tactics, the strategies. There's people that do it way better than me. I know without a shadow of a doubt, if you go into every conversation with that, what's the worst possible case scenario? Not going to spike a panic attack with a life-size teddy bear. Okay. It's never going to happen. If that does happen, message me. You are an awful salesperson. So that's the first one. Do you believe in what you have to offer is the answer to whoever you're talking with? Once again, this gets easier if you have a solution for a very specific person. Check that off the list. Okay. So if you have those two things and you come into every conversation from a place of help and serve first, you're going to be a freaking machine. You can sell low ticket. You can sell $5.99 6-week challenges. You can sell high ticket. You're going to go out there and you're going to cross the world. So like I said, guys, in a lot of future episodes, we'll get into tactics and strategies, and we'll talk about spousal objection. We'll talk about, having that coaching moment to where this person's a perfect fit for the program, but they're not, maybe they felt like they're not ready. We're going to talk about those tactics and strategies, the consultation process, guys. Like this is something I'm a master at. I've spent about 8,000 hours, but I wanted today's training to really set the the framing of the house. And I promise you, if you just go into every single interaction with someone with those three things, worst case scenario is not going to happen. I believe in what I have to offer and I'm here to help and serve. You're going to be an absolute machine when it comes to sales. So great stopping point. Woo! Let's get after it like we're mad at it. And whether you're tuning in, this isn't live, but whether you tune in this week, the next week, or the next week, just know that the way I teach sales, it's always going to stay the same when it comes to these foundational skills. Appreciate you guys.